All right, we're going to finish this up. And I was really cold, so I had to put a blanket on. Bob, I am home. My home is smelly, wet, and dark. It is also cozy and warm and perfect. And now that I'm back, I remember all the parts of my story. My mom is here, and my dad, and my two older sisters, Beth and Anne, and lots of grandparents and cousins. We well dwellers don't live inside the actual wells, more like in between them, in long tunnels and caves with nooks and crannies for playing or resting or thinking. We are tied to the earth and the sky, and even though sometimes people bring us treats, they really don't have to. We would bring the rain anyway. It's what we do. Except when one of us goes missing. This almost never happens because we are never supposed to leave the wells. Like, ever. What happens when one of us gets too close to the surface of a well because we smell cake and then hear a small plop, followed by a big plop? Number 1. As soon as we climb out and dry off, we forget where we came from, forget how to make rain, and forget how to get home. Number 2, our families can't find us and get very, very sad. Our underground tunnels go everywhere, which means that we could pop up anywhere. Well, anywhere there are wells. My mom searched for me in Istanbul and Singapore and Finland, Tokyo, and all 38 Springfields in America. She couldn't go far from the wells, though, because of the drying/forgetting thing. She would never have found me in Grand's closet. Number 3, without rain, the land soon dries out, the crops don't grow, the animals don't have anything to graze on, the reservoirs don't get filled, and farmers like Gran and her neighbors can't pay their bills anymore. Basically, it stinks all around. But once you return to the well, your family is so overjoyed to see you again that they make it pour down rain. In a few days, water will fill the creeks and reservoirs, and rainbows will fill the skies. The grass will get green, and the animals will eat, and farmers will grow crops again, and life will be grand. Life is grand below, too, because I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. Except, and this is a big one, except I've left behind a very smart and brave friend who doesn't remember all the smart and brave things she did because someone's mom, okay mine, acted all scary and took her pawn away. I don't know how my mom knew that the pawn was the key to Livy remembering me, but she did. Mom's not really scary, not with me anyway. After she found me, she told me a story. She said when she'd been looking for me at the Tokyo well, she'd overheard a man telling his son about waku waku, another word that won't be in the W's in my Australian/English dictionary. She said waku waku is a way of describing the thrill you feel at moving towards something that you're excited about, something that makes you feel the most alive out of anything. She said she knew exactly what the man meant, but didn't have a word for it. Waku waku was what kept her moving toward me until I finally got close enough to a well that she found me. Leaning against Gran's well that time with Danny was like a beacon drawing her closer, then touching the old well with the wonky tree led her right to me. Being a well dweller and having a friend like Livy are what make me feel most alive. I can feel the rightness of it all the way to my bones. Now I just need to tell her. So I wait until the middle of the night. I draw my family a picture showing them that I will return soon so they won't worry. Then I put my chicken suit on and hoist a bucket full of water onto my shoulder. When I get back, I will teach my family how to read so that they can learn about things like buckets and I can leave notes with real words. I'm a pretty bad artist. I climb out of the well and have to climb right back in because it turns out all wells look the same from below. It takes me 6 tries to find Livy's yard, but I did get to see some cool parts of the world. I'll have to make sure to return to that Hawaii place soon. It looked very green. Seems I don't have to worry about keeping myself wet because the sky over Grand's farm is still pouring down rain. I let the rain soak me through and through, then pour out the bucket and take it with me anyway. I am so excited as I near the house that I don't even bother with the chicken walk. The smell of freshly baked cake hits me as I slowly push open the back door. It takes supreme willpower to walk by the half-eaten chocolate deliciousness as I pass by it. On second thought, they probably wouldn't miss a bite or two. I put down the fork after 4. I should probably work on this willpower issue. The lights are out, but I can hear Gran on the phone in her room. She is laughing and saying, "I know, isn't it wonderful? I love the ping, ping, ping on the roof. I could listen to it all night. In fact, I plan to." I put my hand on the wall outside her room and send a silent thank you for housing me all those years. Then I pass her half-open door without a sound and enter Livy's bedroom. My feet pull me toward the closet, and I have to remind myself that it's no longer where I belong. But then I go anyway. I stick the Lego pirate ship and my dictionary and the tutu in the bucket. The dictionary is to share with everyone. The tutu is for my sisters. The pirate ship is for me. It reminds me of what Livy said about how one thing can be lots of other things. All it takes is a little imagination. Now I know that people are like that too. Livy's not just old Livy or new Livy. She's every age she's ever been, and sometimes they get jumbled, but they're all in there. All the Bobs are in me too. All the things I choose to put in my head are what make me, me. I plan to choose wisely. I am much smarter since I've returned to the wells. I turn toward Livy, now sleeping soundly with Rufus in her arms. It's the only time I've seen her pay any real attention to him on this trip. I try not to laugh at the dab of blue paint still on her nose. She also has this smear of chocolate on her cheek. Who needs a bath now? Then I notice something sticking out from under her pillow. It's the corner of a book. I can read only a little bit of the title, To Z, but I know exactly what it is. It's the book with my story in it. I want to wake her and ask her about it. I want to play chess and solve more mysteries with her. I want to thank her. She protected me the way a pawn protects the king. Livy got me across the board and all the way home. But I let her sleep. I only lift Rufus carefully from her grasp and placed the chipped pawn inside the pocket of his tiny overalls. It fits perfectly. Mom had it wrapped up in a cloth and stuck it in a drawer, but I took it out and put a rock in there instead. I learned that from Livy's trick with the pillows in her bed. I hope it will be many years before Mom realizes my deception. I pat Rufus on the head one last time. It might not work. Maybe Livy will leave him with Gran and won't ever find the pawn, but I hope Livy finds it, and I hope she takes it when she goes back to the other side of the world. Keep moving toward what makes you feel most alive, Livy, I whisper. See you in 5 years. I tiptoe back to the door, but then remember something really important and tiptoe back to whisper one last thing. Bring licorice. All right, My Favorite Words by Bob. I have many more favorites, but I have to make this quick because my sisters keep tickling me and making me laugh so that my pencil goes all the way across the page. That's sisters for you. But it's important to think about words. You can't understand how you feel sometimes until you know the words for it. Words make things real. You can quote me on that. Brunch rhymes with lunch. A late morning meal eaten instead of breakfast and lunch. I can't believe Livy never told me about brunch. It's half breakfast, half lunch. This word isn't in Gran's old dictionary like the rest of these. My mom collected it for me in New York City. Mom and I both love collecting words, and she knows how much I love food. Mom doesn't like food, but I've told my sisters all about potato chips and beans. Beth likes the idea of potato chips, and Anne likes the idea of beans. I like both, of course. Eternity. Infinite time without beginning or end. Time is tricky. The days are long, but the years are short. There are 525,600 minutes in a year, but just 1 minute can feel like an eternity if you're waiting to see someone you love. Or it can feel really short if you need to get all the way across the world because a 7-year-old boy is getting ready to go fishing with his grandpa in a pond that's almost out of water. He's all pointy elbows and knees and high hopes, and you definitely don't want to disappoint him. Time is even trickier for well-dwellers because we age really slowly. Dad said this is why I only grew a millimeter while I was at Gran's house all those years. That's okay. I'm not in any rush to be grown up. From what I can tell, it's not nearly as much fun. Solo. For or done by one person alone, unaccompanied. Don't get me wrong. I love being with my family. I love exploring every corner of the world together, even if we are mostly exploring underground. I love making rain together and helping nature grow. I love learning new languages together, and I love piling into our great big reading nook with a big stack of books when we have some free time. Anne loves graphic novels. Beth loves true stories. Mom loves mysteries. Dad's more of a comic book guy. But sometimes, believe it or not, I miss my closet. Sometimes I miss being alone. Something inside me calls out, telling me I need another solo mission. Usually it's just a walk, an hour of visiting with myself, thinking about my memories, planning my next Lego project, or telling myself all about the things I want to do someday. One thing is, I really want to try something called soup dumplings. I hope someone drops one near a well soon. Hint, hint. I don't know whether this is something I had to learn by being at Gran's or if it's just the way I am, but I love my Bob time. Library. A public place containing books that may be read or borrowed. After I got home, my parents didn't let me leave the well by myself for a long time. My first solo mission to bring Livy the pawn has remained my secret. But once they finally tried my water bucket trick themselves, they couldn't wait to pop out of every well. Every well. That's how we discovered our first library. Just the word library sends shivers of anticipation through me. I thought at first it was a made-up place, but no, libraries are real. They actually lend you books for free. Well, not to me, because they don't let fake chickens get library cards, but if there are no kids around, I can walk right in and none of the grown-ups see me. I read over their shoulders sometimes, but mostly I just run my hands along the spines as I walk the stacks and marvel at all the stories and knowledge tucked away inside the books. Once, I poked my head out of a well in Reykjavik, Iceland, to see if it's true that Greenland is icy and Iceland is green. It is, and also, it's hot underground there. And guess what I found in the middle of a park? A wooden box stuck on a pole labeled Little Free Library. The books are free and you get to keep them. I've now discovered these boxes all over the world. This is how we filled the book nook Dad dug for me after I first came home. Anytime I leave the wells, I bring books to fill the boxes so people who don't have books can find them. Beth made me my own library card and I carry it everywhere. One day I'll figure out a way to get into the bookstore too. Then I can buy my own copy of fairy and folk tales from A to Z, but that one I'm going to keep. Uranus, the seventh planet from the sun. How could you not love a word that you can pronounce 2 ways and both ways make you giggle? Uranus or Uranus. Maybe the person who named it lost a truth or dare game, and the dare was they had to give it the weirdest name they could think of. Uranus is the 3rd largest planet in our solar system and the coldest. With the help of one of my new books and my excellent eyesight, I was able to find it in the night sky last week. I couldn't see any of its impressive 27 moons, though. Wouldn't it be awesome to be on Uranus and look up at the sky and see all those moons just hanging there, making our one moon seem pretty boring? Speaking of weird names for things, I recently asked my parents why they named me Bob. They said they liked that it could be said backward or forward and still sound the same. I showed them the word palindrome in the dictionary, and now they want to turn Anne's name into Anna, but she insists that she's happy with her name as it is. Thank you very much. Beth, however, has changed her full name to Bethteb. We still call her Beth. Deluge, a sudden large amount of rain, also refers to flooding or an inundation of anything. When we need to deliver a lot of water in a very short time, we create a deluge. It's not as easy as it sounds. Mom can make one herself, and Beth can almost do it, but Anne and I have to hold hands. Grandstown didn't turn green again until there were a whole bunch of deluges, plus a lot of regular type rain. I like thinking that the same rain that falls on the farm once fell on the dinosaurs, then sank into the earth, then evaporated, then came back down again over and over. I wonder if it rains on Uranus. I like looking at Grand's horses, which finally came back too when the grass grew again. Once during a drizzle, I was sitting on the Sylvester Rock watching the horses when I saw someone crossing the yard to Grand's door. It took me a while to realize it was Danny. Danny got tall. I waved, but he couldn't see me. Maybe he got too old. He was smiling, though, just walking in the rain. I made it rain a little harder, and he laughed. I guess Danny will love the rain forever. Serendipity, the occurrence of an event by chance in a happy or beneficial way, a happy accident. How could I not love this word? Serendipity is what brought me to Livy, and Livy to me. What could be a happier accident than me and Livy inside the same small well, inside the same small town at the exact same time? I think we both saved each other after all. My life is so much fuller than before I met her, in ways it would take me another 5 years to count. Plus, serendipity sounds a little like the name of a desert, don't you think? A dessert, sorry. If I could invent a cookie, this is what I would name it. The serendipity cookie would have caramel, Livy's favorite, and licorice, my favorite, and chocolate, of course. Anne is threatening to put on my tutu if I don't stop writing now, and I've grown very attached to that tutu, so I'd better go play with them. I'm going to save this notebook to show Livy one day, and with time being the trickster that it is, I know I'll see her soon. Well, soon-ish. Okay, this is Bob. Over and out. All right, that's the end. So I totally forgot to create an assignment to have you guys write your wishes from Wishtree. So I'm going to make that your journal prompt for tomorrow, and then the day after I'm going to have you guys I'm going to have you guys write your favorite word and find the definition of it in the dictionary, and then tell me about why you like it. Okay? And we will start a new book tomorrow.